Is this thing working? Hey YouTube, we're jumping right into One Piece 1109 discussion. Admittedly, not too much actually happened in this chapter, but it did very well to build the anticipation and the hype for what's to come. We're going to go through this sequentially, so I'm sure myself, along with many of the One Piece community, is very excited to see a cover story that provides more story context around the world. So we last had this when we were getting the Vinsmoke cover story, and now we get a glimpse of Onigashima underwater, located on top of Old Wano. I guess Onigashima just kind of got up and walked over there, but nonetheless, it's underwater now. And the only purpose I could think this would serve is eventually the armory that is still down there somehow being triggered for when Wano needs to open its borders and awaken Pluton. I always thought, like, how would they open the borders just like that? So my guess is that somehow, some way, something will trigger that armory to kind of blow up the surrounding area below and open the borders for Wano for when the time to use Pluton is upon us. So we start the chapter out by continuing the live broadcast of myself and Pythagoras and, of course, Stella. I thought it was really interesting to get a glimpse into the dynamic that they have in a non-stressful environment, you know, with everything going on. It made me really think, like, is this current form of Stella, after creating all these satellites, his purest form? Given that these other satellites really embody particular attributes, you know, Lilith embodying evil, Shaka embodying good, York embodying greed. So I thought that was a cool kind of character moment that we're able to see, since it's really kind of organic and their situation. But nonetheless, the broadcast gives us the insight that we will have 10 minutes until everything on Egghead is wrapped up. Now, we've gotten scenarios like this before, like the birdcage. I myself don't really mind the stated time limit. I think it does good to really let the readers know, like, hey, this is coming to an end, and everything's really about to get serious and wrap up. So as long as the arc plays out appropriately to match the stakes and hype that's set by the time limit, I'm totally okay with it. From there we get more cuts of reactions around the world, and I find it really curious that I think a lot of the cuts around the world, we're getting consistently the same people. So we consistently go to Fuchsia Village, we consistently go to Water 7, which I think is probably the most interesting, because Iceberg and the shipbuilders and all that, like, I'm so curious what role they'll have to play moving forward, because we keep panning there, and it's like, all right, why are we panning there if they're not going to be brought back into the story? And I'm not sure what that's for. Like, is it to help build Noah? Is it to help build a Pluton fighter? But that doesn't make sense, because Pluton's over in Wano. So yeah, I'm really curious why we keep panning to Water 7 and Iceberg and company in particular. Of course, we go to Dressrosa, we get Kyros and Rebecca, and then we also get a funny interaction between Morgans and Vivi. I thought it was pretty funny, just the way that he calls her a fool. Vivi's character story and how her story progression plays out is also another really interesting. I think there's essentially two options there. She gets captured by whoever the Grosei and Aang send after her, and she's brought to Mary Joie, and ultimately that's why Luffy and crew go there, where they'll probably have their three-way fight with the Blackbeard Pirates as well as Emu. And then, or on the other side, she meets up with the Straw Hats because Morgans is interested in seeing what's actually happening on Egghead Island, and maybe they all meet up somehow. But yeah, I think it would be cool to kind of bring her into the story, since she does have that connection with the Giants from Little Garden way back when. After that, we kind of get situational awareness of where some parties on the island are. given the situations, I wouldn't be surprised if there are small subsets of the crew that break out. So mainly 2 or 3 parties, because why would you have Atlas, Frankie, Bonnie, Kuma's body go onto the giant ship, and then you have other members going to the Straw Hat ship? So I'm not sure exactly what will happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if somehow there is a little breakup of the crew and then they all convene at Elbaf. Obviously, Luffy has to get out of there. How that happens, we're not sure. I have mentioned in the past that I think that Dory Bragi, of course, and the giant robot will probably come to help and make it a 4-on-5 kind of a situation. Within that, we also essentially get confirmation that, yes, Vegapunk is definitely dead. I mentioned in my One Piece death video, which you can check out here, that this would probably be the most impactful death of the story, and you know, given the anticipation around the message that he has to deliver, I think that's an accurate assumption. We get caught up on the fight sequence. Luffy, living up to the true monkey name, claps and creates pizzas. I think this really establishes like the pecking order that, yeah, he, if maintainable, if he could maintain Gear 5, is firmly ahead of at least Kizaru. I think Kizaru's Devil Fruit now, when compared to Kuzan and Sakazuki, is maybe the least effective, because if you think about how Luffy's just able to grab him, like, he cannot do that with Kuzan or Sakazuki, just give them their elemental natures. So I think their ability to kind of create mass and affect the area more effectively than Kizaru kind of establishes that, yeah, they're probably above him. Saturn seems to be doing particularly okay against Luffy. Some people think that, you know, he's fought them before, and that would kind of make sense. But yeah, the big thing being the summoning jutsu. So Saturn essentially summons the other 4 Gorosei, and the planets are aligning. I'm sure this is an event. Having all 5 Gorosei on the lower realm probably hasn't happened since the events of the Void Century, which really makes me think that what we're witnessing right now with regards to Nika versus the Gorosei, and even the allies that are coming, so the Buccaneers and the Giants, I think this is essentially a microcosm of what happened in the Void Century. Of course, on a much smaller scale, we're getting a nice peek, you know, of the clans, who was supporting Nika and such like that. So yeah, and you know, in true Oda fashion, he builds it up just to give us a nice break. So we don't actually get to see the Gorosei in their devil fruit forms, but we can only guess. We got the silhouettes back when they attacked Cobra and Sabo. So now we'll finally get to see what their devil fruit forms are. You know, that's really where all the anticipation was built, outside of the message that Vegapunk is yet to deliver. Having said that, now that all 5 of the Gorosei here, this kind of makes me think, and let me know what you guys think, that Saturn may not make it out of this. And the reason I say that is, if you're bringing all 5 of the Gorosei into one location, and we've already gotten a lot of kind of Saturn's backstory in terms of his characterization and, you know, the impacts that he's had, I wouldn't be surprised if he's somehow offed. And that is what opens the door for Katarina Devon and the Blackbeard Pirates to effectively utilize their ability to change into him. With that being said, yeah, I thought it was a really kind of heart-racing type of chapter. Not much substance in terms of what happens. And usually what happens is the break is we get a return chapter in 2 weeks that probably won't give us everything that we want. And then it's followed by another chapter where it's like everything kind of hits home. And that would actually be chapter 1111. So we know how Oda likes this number, so I would kind of bookmark that chapter as the one where we get the big reveal and such like that. But nonetheless, I thought it was a fun chapter. Really got me looking forward to what's to come. Let me know what you guys thought, and if you're enjoying the content, if you like the cosplay, I recommend that you hit the like button and subscribe for more awesome anime analytics One Piece content. So, until next time, Taicho out.